Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a special video. I was asked to be a part of the On a Whimsical Adventure design team, and I'm so happy and excited and honored to be a part of the team. I was asked to be a part of the team by Anya. She's the creator and designer of the images you see on the On a Whimsical Adventure Etsy shop, and she gave me the opportunity to play with several of her kits. You may have heard of her shop before, and there's several amazing girls on the team. You can find their videos on YouTube if you just YouTube On a Whimsical Adventure, and you could put DT or design team, and you will find all of the fun projects that everyone has made. So I'm happy to be a part of the team, and I'm so excited about my first project. So let's get into it. I was going to do this as a voiceover, but sometimes those go too fast, and I feel like I just want to explain everything and explain all of the little pieces of the kit that I use and make sure I get everything said and recognized. So let's see. This is from the kit from a Gothic Romance. So I used two kits here. I used a Gothic Romance, which this is from, and the Powers of Time kit, which this is from. And so this journal is a combination of those two kits. So there's design elements from both, and I'll try to make sure I point out which one is which, and I will also link the kits that I used and links to her shop in the description of this video if you want to check out these kits or the other beautiful digital images that she has to offer. So this is the journal. This is just a sari ribbon that I sort of wrapped around, and when I package this up, I'll tie it nicely, but I just included these two French skeleton keys here. These are armoire keys. I got a whole batch of these keys, and these two came together like this, so I thought I would keep them on this little chain here. And I thought keys were a nice addition because the Powers of Time has some elements that kind of go along with like keys. There's like a little keyhole embellishment, which you'll see in my journal, and other things like that this kind of goes along with. So just set the keys here to this side. So when I was looking at the kits and trying to decide how I was going to make the cover and what colors I wanted to use, I had this idea for like this sea green and sort of purple, burgundy, magenta. Like these colors were just swimming around in my brain for quite a while. I feel like I just live in this like land of color combinations in my brain that I have to express and get out sometimes. And so this is one of those things where I just like was dreaming about this like sort of, I don't know, sea green, mint green, what do you call this? I just knew I had this fabric, and these colors I just knew I had to put together all in one to kind of make this Gothic sort of dark feeling, almost like a Gothic botanical, I want to say. It's hard to put an exact label on what this is, but I always use botanical images and flowers and roses and leaves here, and this floral applique. So it's sort of a floral and botanical journal in a bit of a Gothic or darker style, and the kits you'll see have a sort of darker undertone to them as well, and so they go perfect with all these colors and all the imagery and everything. Okay, can't wait to open this. Okay, this is my favorite scene of the journal. So when you open it up, okay. So this is an original postcard from my collection, which is so beautiful. I just love this girl here, and I added embellishments from the Powers of Time kit, and I think this is from a Gothic Romance kit here, and these are from the embellishment sheets, and this is sort of like a little washi strip. So I just cut that right out and distressed it a little bit and put that here, and this actually spins because I love a good spinny embellishment. I always have to do some sort of spinner in my journals, and so this is a little clock with an eye, and this is from the Powers of Time, and this here is just a little journaling card or tag, and you can write on the back of that, and this is this beautiful girl is from the Powers of Time as well. So she just gets tucked right back in here. And then this beautiful, kind of like an onion skin envelope, vintage envelope. This was a censored one, so it's been examined and opened. And then because it was a little bit see-through, I mean, you can't fully see through it, but you can kind of. I put this really bold rose postcard behind there, and on this postcard I just used a little tab from one of the embellishment sheets from the Powers of Time, just to kind of have something so you can like pull it out or just make it easier to kind of, you know, take out, and you can turn it around and look at the back. So, and then a bunch of journaling space here. Okay, and then this gorgeous paper. So this paper here is what inspired me to use the Gothic Romance kit. When I saw this kind of like a little label section here and this floral, I knew I had to use this kit. And there's many other beautiful images from this kit, but this is one that was my favorite, and so I knew I wanted this to be a full page. So much writing space here, and you can, you know, maybe write some beautiful script here. So yeah, and then this is just a little piece of ephemera I had in my collection, and I turned it into a little side tuck. And I've just got another tag here that I made, and these girls here kind of felt very solemn and Gothic, perhaps, with their clothing and this velvet black choker that she's got on. So just a little something to add to the Gothic feel of this, and this as well, with this sort of frame here. And then this is an original French receipt, really pretty. And this paper here is from the Powers of Time, and I just love how these literally look like 3D. And here's a keyhole. Here's one of the keyhole elements. This is part of this design paper here. So nice, and so much writing space. And I printed this on linen paper, so it kind of has a nice grain to it here. And then look at this little pop of teal. I just love that. In the kit, there's lots of pages that you can use. So this is another page, and I just printed it on the back. So you have two decorative but blank, for the most part, pages for you to use to actually do some writing. And then this is just a botanical book page that I just love so much, and I just thought that this kind of nude statue back here in the distance was really beautiful with these, you know, this beautiful garden here. So just to kind of add to the botanical part of this journal. And this is from A Gothic Romance, the Gothic Romance kit, and it was also one of the pages, and I just sized it down a bit to have this sort of like large tuck spot. And this is also a little embellishment from one of the kits. And just tucked in this really cool grungy piece of ephemera. Just really cool typography and images, and just love this grunginess here. It looks like it was ripped right out of a book, so you can use that in your collage work. And just look how amazing this prints out. I mean, it looks almost 3D, especially with all of the layering that she does here. That just looks really cool. So, and then this is just a vintage envelope with some gorgeous script. And then I just did this little #2 tag here. It was really cute. And then this is from A Gothic Romance, and it's just a quote by Edgar Allan Poe. And this is a pretty well-known quote. I like this one, so you can read that there. And there are several other quotes in the kit too, but this one is the one that spoke to me, and I'm very familiar with this beautiful quote. So in this pocket here is just some little French ephemera like this here for you to use. This journal is very chunky, so you'll see it's like very bulky, and there's a lot of elements in here, but I wanted to give you things that would be useful to you, like these little sort of like French scraps and things that you could use in collage, or just, I mean, even if you don't want to use it and you just want to admire it, they're really cool. And then this, I just liked his very solemn look, and kind of like the dark black and white of this is just giving me kind of Gothic feels, so I put him in there. And then just some more little French pieces for you to play with. And then some more writing space here. Another beautiful image from the kit. Look at this. I just love these roses, this frame here. So you could cut out a picture and put it here or do some fancy writing. I like the idea of maybe getting a fountain pen and doing some fancy writing or something here. That would be really nice. And then another tag with a little spinner. This is from The Powers of Time. And yeah, I just love, there's so many different little circles that you could use and put a little brad through and make something spin. I mean, it's just like, I had to do that with these clocks. So yeah, a little tag for you. And then here, this is a little journaling card from one of the kits, and this little washi strip is from the Powers of Time kit. And I just put it there kind of, again, as a little tab to easily pull that out. And then this is just a sticker that I placed right here just because I thought it went well with this. So you can do some writing here, writing on the back. And this is a kind of a funky little journaling card that I made on this vintage file folder. So this is like a metal tab here, and I just did some collaging here. So that just gets tucked in. And then we have a little velvet tab here with some roses. And then a little rose wax seal. And then this paper here is another one from The Powers of Time. And again, that teal sort of border there. I just feel like everything sort of comes together with the colors from both kits. I feel like they complement each other really well, which is why I chose to work with both of them. And so yeah. And then another garden, sort of a garden image. So here, okay, so here is a little label from, I think, a Gothic Romance, and there's several labels in that kit. So this is a vintage photograph that I just put here, and I chose it because it just kind of has a creepy vibe to it with this sort of like barren tree, and it's black and white, and I don't know, it just gave me kind of a creepy feel, and I thought it was sort of perfect for this Gothic inspired journal, and I just put a little dried rose here. So tucked in here, I tucked in 3 things, and okay, I'll start with this one. And this is a journaling card from The Powers of Time, and it says, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." And I thought that that quote went really well with this vintage mourning envelope. So this is when they have black borders around like this. I believe the right name for these is a mourning stationery or mourning envelope, where, you know, you wouldn't write a letter regarding somebody who's passed on, and inside is a letter in Greek. So this is a Greek person, and there are some vintage like little newspaper clippings in here that this person saved, and some of them have some really cool imagery. So I'll let you look through these, the recipient, but some really beautiful typography and fonts and interesting things to look at in here. So I just thought that the mourning stationery combined with this quote here, hopefully you can see what I mean. Like, I just feel like it kind of went well together. And then just a little angel piece of stationery here for you to use. I thought that all went together really nicely. I'll put that back in a second. And then this is a piece of 1800s ledger that I literally took a match to and burned part of it, which was an interesting feeling to just like burn this ledger. But yeah, so I thought it kind of gave a cool effect here as a centerpiece. Okay, and then here I just included another vintage photograph, and again, I just chose things that could be seen as creepy or gave me kind of like a Gothic feel. So there's these 2 girls in front of what could be maybe like a Victorian style house, like an old antique house. And then this is from a Gothic Romance, and this is from one of the embellishment sheets. There's a bunch of little roses in squares, little tiny squares that you can cut out and use it as embellishments, and I cut them out using my stamp scissors, you know, like the serrated like craft stamp scissors, to make sort of a, what looks like a little stamp. So I've included little rose stamps kind of throughout the journal, and this is one of them. And then this is just another little journaling card here. And then inside here, this is from a Gothic Romance as well. And I'm not sure if it was meant to be used as a pocket, but that's how I used it. And so I just cut it out the way I just followed the lines on it and just cut it out that way. And it kind of looks like it was burned and very jagged, and I love that. And so with distressing it, it kind of adds to that whole feeling of it being like very rough and jagged. So you could write something really nice here, and I just included a little journaling card that I made inside this pocket, and it's a bit hidden because it's underneath this flap here. And then this side, another tuck spot, and these little flags, these two here are from the Powers of Time kit, and I just made another little spinny thing because I love a good opportunity to spin something and use my little vintage vintage brads that I got. So another little spinny embellishment. And then tucked in here, this was one of the pages from A Powers of Time, and I again sized it down to use it as kind of like to make this altered envelope. This is a vintage envelope, and I just put this on it as sort of the cover, and added some little fabric tabs here. And I like this because you could either write something on here and maybe like, you know, a note as to what the contents is if you want to change the contents of this envelope, or I think it would look really cool if you maybe like put a photograph here. You could, you know, get one of your own photographs and glue it right there, and I just think that looks really cool with this border. So that's just an idea. But inside here is a vintage letter, so you could use that, remove it, add your own contents, put your own design here, write something. But I thought that was something cool to include. I like to hide journaling in my personal journals. I like to hide journaling in envelopes and things like that. So that was the idea behind this. And then let's see, a vintage postcard here, and I chose this one because it's black and just, you know, more adding to the Gothic feel. And then this is a piece of eco-dyed paper I got in some Happy Mail quite some time ago, and it just sort of went perfectly with this journal, so you can use that. Again, I try to include things that would be useful to you and also really pretty to look at. And then here, this is some sari. It's a piece of sari, and I really like the colors just to add to the botanical green theme, so kind of different shades of green throughout this journal, and then the gold is really pretty. So this is just a little flip up, and I tucked under here, and you can move this around if you want to, and you can take it out too if you wanted to, but because you can hide your journaling here. But this is, okay, this is several different papers and embellishments from A Gothic Romance and The Powers of Time. So this is from A Gothic Romance. It's one of the frames, and I actually used my oval die to cut out the inside of the frame so that I could make a window for a photograph. And what I tried to do is emulate sort of like a cabinet card. So the picture on the front, and then like this could be like the cabinet card back. And this is from A Gothic Romance. And then inside here is actually a pocket. So this is a frame, and then this is a pocket, and inside is just some little journaling cards from The Powers of Time. There. And then this is an image from The Powers of Time, and it actually is one of these where it kind of looks like maybe it was a watch, but in the middle of the watch face is a photograph. So this image was one of these, and I took it, and this was a little embellishment from that same embellishment sheet, and I punched it out with a circle punch, put a little eyelet in there, and made it so that you can easily tug this out of here if you wanted to. So it's like the idea of like a little stopwatch or a watch, and then you just sort of pull it out, and you can use that however you like. You can put your own photo in there, but I just thought that this was a cool little design. So that goes in here. And then a little key. And she is from The Powers of Time. This is the same angel that I used on the tag in the front, and it also comes on one of the design papers. And this is from A Gothic Romance. Again, I cut it out with the stamp scissors, and it's just a small little embellishment just to add color, just to add a little detail. And then this is fun. This is from the Powers of Time. It's a little keyhole. So I cut that out and used like an X-Acto knife to cut out the keyhole here. And I had this little washi piece of this little lady. And I had already put the lady there, and I just thought how perfect this little keyhole looked over her. Just kind of like a random little thing to look at on this page. But yeah, here, I'll show you her up close. Which is pretty cool. And okay, so here's another one of those rose stamps. And this is a journaling card that I made, and it was one of the pages from the Power of Time. And I sized this down as well to make a journaling card for you. And this time little label here was actually from one of the smaller journaling cards, and I punched it out with a label punch and just put it here, just to kind of add to the look of this journaling card, and I just kind of put it off to the side. So you can journal on the back of that. This is kind of an interesting piece of ephemera. This is like a two group photos of this sort of club or league. It's the Epworth League Institute from 1923. So just kind of an interesting thing to look at. Maybe you want to even cut that out and use as an interesting piece for collage. Just really cool. And then beautiful fonts here as well. And then one of my favorite vintage playing cards, this one here, and a little vintage paper clip, and this beautiful telegram. I chose this one because of the colors, kind of a darker theme here. This is a wedding one, best wishes for a long and happy life together. So beautiful. And this paper, I knew I had to use this. Whenever I see these hearts, this reminds me of the necklace that my husband gave me on our wedding day as a wedding gift, and it was of an anatomical heart with a little jewel. And so I just love this image here. It's so pretty with the roses, and there's like the hearts kind of shadowed in the background. And then just another little journaling card here with an interesting image. And this is a really cool piece of ephemera. It's like a train or railroad, let's see, sort of a railroad agreement of some sort, maybe an agreement of amounts to be paid. But yeah, really cool, or really pretty writing with fountain pen. It's from the 1800s, 1881. So that just gets tucked right here, and you can use that just as part of your ephemera collection, or, you know, if you dare cut it up, you can use it in your artwork. And then this is the other side of that page from the Powers of Time. And then this is from the Powers of Time as well. And see a lot of skeleton keys, which is why I included these keys to go along with your journal. And this is from a Gothic Romance, and kind of with this distressing, I feel like it also looks like it had been burned, which is kind of the goal when I was distressing it. And yeah, really interesting Gothic image. And this is from the Powers of Time. It's a little pocket. There's several pockets in both kits that are really pretty and easy to cut out. So you just cut them out, and they have fold lines, so you just fold them in and glue the fold lines down. And this is a little tab from the kit, and then just a little vintage railroad tag. This is from the Gothic Romance kit. Some more journaling space here. And that is the end of the journal. And then this, so this is from the Powers of Time, and this is a really big kit, so there's a lot of pieces in this one for you to use. And I sized this down. I think this was one of the pages as well. I sized this down to cover this vintage envelope, which I embossed with these roses. And on the inside here, I just wanted to give you some extras to play with and show you some of the extra things that come in the kits. So this is just a little vintage tag thing. And then these are some little labels and images from a Gothic Romance. So really cool. I love these little skeletons here. And then another little label. This might be from a Gothic Romance too. This is just a little piece of interesting ephemera for my collection. And a little strip of French ledger. And then here, okay, so this is just a little fabric sampler of some of my darker Gothic feeling fabrics. And I sort of put them together in this little sampler that you can flip through. And this is from the Powers of Time kit. It's just one of the little flags, and I cut it down and used it as sort of like a holder for these fabrics and just stapled them all in. So you can easily pop out the staples or just pop that off and you can use these. So just a couple little strips from my collection. This beautiful velvet and some roses. So that just all comes in this little envelope, and that's just a little extra thing that I made. So I hope you guys like my design team project. I'm so happy with the way it turned out, and it was really, really fun to play with kits. It's actually my first time playing with full, complete kits that have pages and embellishments, journaling cards. So that was kind of an interesting and fun experience. So as I said in the beginning of the video, the links to the kits that I used will be in the description box. And thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.